Hi all, Seahawk Fitness here. Just wanted to share some virtual programming with you all about heart health.
So, heart health is important to maintain because without it, obviously, heart disease can occur. Heart disease is a variety of illnesses, not necessarily just heart attack or clogged arteries, but it can be all encompassing and show up in a variety of ways. Um, According to the CDC, about 1 in every 5 females and 1 in every 4 males will be killed because of heart disease, which is a huge amount of our population. Obviously, you can see those numbers there from 2017. The good news is that heart disease can often be prevented when people make healthy choices and manage their health conditions. So we're going to talk a little bit about what some of those healthy choices are. We'll dive into some resources and information so that you can start making or continue making heart healthy choices for the rest of your life.
So here are some heart healthy habits. We'll go into more depth in these, but we have stress management, mental health, physical activity, food choices, your amount of sleep, and substance use. And all of these play a role into the health of your heart.
So stress management and mental health. There are a variety of different ways to manage your stress, and it's going to depend on who you are as an individual, what you enjoy doing. But one of the biggest things you can do is try to identify the true sources of stress in your life. It's very easy to give stress as an umbrella term and say, yes, school stresses me out, when it may actually be procrastination, a lack of organization, instead of just school in general. So the best way to kind of narrow that down is starting a stress journal or keeping track of those things that are regular stressors in your life and how you deal with them. So every time you feel stressed, try keeping track of it somewhere, maybe in a journal, maybe in the notes app in your phone, just somewhere that you can go back and look later and say, here's what caused my stress, how I felt about it, what I did about it, and then how I made myself feel better. Hopefully after time, you can start to identify a pattern and then slowly work on getting rid of those everyday stressors in your life. Something else that you can do is start practicing controlling your environment, especially learning how to say no. That can be very difficult when you have a lot of things going on, different commitments to school and work and social life. But just understanding that you do have control over things in your life, such as who you spend time with, when you do your homework, what foods you eat, exercise, and learning what behaviors make you feel good and what behaviors help you improve and which ones don't. So making sure that you can practice and learn to say no to certain things or people that may be a distraction or add stress into your life. Connect with others. So maybe find someone who is a good listener, someone who understands you, makes you feel safe and comfortable, and use this person to relieve your stress. Try not to make it somebody who has all of the same stressors as you, and then suddenly you're sitting around talking about how you're both so stressed and you don't have time to do anything. But instead, maybe try to connect with someone who has the opposite viewpoint from you. So you can go to them and say, oh my gosh, I'm really stressed about this, and they can maybe help you scale it back a little bit and say, well, here's some things you could try, here's some things you could do. Even though it's important to identify all of these things, have those people that we can use as resources, it's also still really important to make time for fun and relaxation. It's easy to get really caught up in the things that we need to do every single day, checking off lists, whatever that may be. But make sure that you have time to do fun activities and just relax when you need to. And then make sure that you utilize resources as you have them. So here at UNCW, we have a lot of resources for people to use, as well as online resources. So make sure that you are using those as you can, because they can definitely help you set up for healthy habits.
Next, we talk about physical activity. So listed here, we have the physical activity guidelines. So this is getting at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity per week. When done regularly, moderate and vigorous intensity physical activity strengthens your heart muscles. So this actually improves your heart's ability to pump blood to your lungs and throughout your body. As a result, more blood flows to your muscles and oxygen levels in your blood rises. Also, this can lower your risk for coronary heart disease. So this is a disease where like waxy or plaque substances build up in your coronary arteries, and this can cause blockages. And these blockages can block blood flow, which is essentially what causes a heart attack. So physical activity can help avoid this from happening. Also, it is important to get some strength training in there. So the guidelines recommend moderate to high intensity muscle strengthening activity on at least 2 days per week. And then just a general guideline in there, try to spend less time sitting. Even like light intensity activity can offset some of these risk factors. So whether that's going out for a nice walk, playing at the beach, or playing a nice game of basketball or something like that, just try and avoid sitting around all day.
It's also really important to consider your food choices. Not only can that make a difference in your cholesterol and overall body function, but it can help improve your performance just as a person in the activities that you do. One really important note is to make sure that you have a colorful plate. So incorporating fruits, veggies, grains, whatever that may be that you enjoy eating, but making sure that you're getting a variety of colors and nutrients. Obviously a good mix of protein and carbs, but making sure that you're not just sticking to, one general food group where you're eating plain chicken and brown rice and you're having peanut butter on the side. Get some greens, get some red, yellow, whatever you enjoy eating. Consume less saturated fats. So saturated fats raise our cholesterol, which we do not want. And saturated fats should only make up 5 to 6% of our diet. So whether that be limiting the sources where saturated fat comes from, which are things such as fatty beef, lamb, pork, dairy products, baked goods, fried foods, making sure that we are trying to consume less saturated fats and also less sodium. So sodium also comes from a lot of those foods that were just listed. So those baked foods, fried foods, some of those fattier foods. So making sure we're trying to limit foods that are high in salt because that can increase our blood pressure. Increasing fiber intake. So trying to make fiber 25 grams per day, whether that come from beans, broccoli, berries, whole grains, making sure that we are incorporating that into our diet is good for digestion and heart health. Here are some examples of heart healthy foods. So fish, brown rice, spinach, broccoli, walnuts, mixed nuts, oatmeal. And then if you have any more questions or you're interested in learning more about good nutrition choices for heart health, you can check out My Plate, you can check out the USDA website, or you can reach out to UNCW's campus dietitian.
So sleep. As a busy college student, sleep is kind of one of the last things on our minds. Meaning you probably need more. According to the National Sleep Foundation, on average, adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So here are some tips we are giving you to develop better sleep habits, because we have heard that a lot of college students don't prioritize sleep, or they have trouble sleeping or falling asleep or getting to sleep. So try and develop a regular sleep schedule. So whether that's saying, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock every night and making sure you get in bed at 10 p.m. Maybe that's avoiding screen time before bed. So whether that be you put your phone kind of on your nightstand or even on your dresser so it's away from you can't reach it from your bed. And maybe even trying reading before bed or something like that, just to try and avoid that light before bed. And your sleep environment. So whether you have loud roommates or something like that, maybe having a discussion with them about I'm trying to get better sleep, so making sure you have a quiet environment. or adding like a sound machine or a fan to block extra noise. Maybe even getting some like blackout curtains if you have any bright lights outside next to your windows or something like that. And then that caffeine use. So we know our world kind of relies on caffeine and coffee to keep us up and active every day, but making sure we're not consuming this, right before bed or around a time we're going to try and be going to sleep.
So why should this be important to you? You may be thinking that if you are young and healthy and you don't have any underlying conditions, that you don't need to worry about heart health. But your heart is what keeps you going. And so building these healthy habits now will allow you to maintain them throughout your lifetime. Obviously, heart health does get a little bit more important as we do get a little bit older, but it is important to anyone and everyone of all ages. It's really important to know your history. So what is your family history in regards to heart health or heart disease? Because some types of heart disease are genetic, which means that some people may already be at increased risk. If your parents or someone in your immediate family has heart disease, it's even more important that you strive to live a heart healthy life so that you can hopefully avoid those issues that folks in your family have experienced. Staying tobacco free is very important. Nicotine, which is the chemical in cigarettes and other tobacco products, can make your heart rate and your blood pressure rise, which means that it can be difficult for your heart to get the oxygen it needs to function properly. Smoking is responsible for 443,000 premature deaths each year, and about 1/3 of those deaths are linked to heart disease. So making sure that you are creating healthy habits regarding tobacco or substance use now is very important, because it will carry on through the rest of your life. And if you are doing damage to your heart this way, it can start now. Getting enough exercise. So we know that being active is beneficial for a variety of reasons, but obesity or being 20% heavier than your ideal body weight for your height means that your body has to work harder to support the extra weight, which can strain your heart and increase your risk of high cholesterol and diabetes. So making sure that you are exercising to not only make your heart more efficient, but also keeping your body at a healthy weight can reduce the risk of heart disease. And then, like we talked about with your diet, making sure that you're getting those good nutrients for your body, and eating heart healthy by limiting foods that are high in sodium and sugar can be really beneficial down the long run. The biggest reason why this is important and why this matters for you is that this is a great time for you to create habits that will last a lifetime. The nice thing about being traditional college-age student is that these are some of the habits that you will build and take with you for the rest of your life. So it's really neat that you have a lot of resources available that you can use now to kind of set yourself up for success as you go.
So we just want to thank you all for listening today. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at the email address below.